Here we are at the museum at Hendrick Motorsports talking to Jeff Gordon, driver of the number 24 Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet. You probably do that much better than I. And I couldn't help but notice, Jeff, that this season will mark your 20th year in Cup since that first start back, it was at Atlanta in 1992. How does that feel, 20 years in the Cup Series?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, to think back through all the years. They've been amazing years, and they've gone by fast, so I guess that's a good thing. But I've definitely got less hair and more gray, so that's proof that it's been going on a long time. All that matters to me is I get the opportunity to be a part of a great organization like Hendrick Motorsports and a great team like we have this year with Alan Gustafson, to represent Drive to End Hunger, DuPont. And DuPont's doing a special 20th anniversary paint scheme this year. So it's an exciting year. It's hard to believe 20 years later, we're still competitive, still enjoying it, having fun, and winning races. And that's, that's a tribute to a great team.
Do you feel like you have a role in the garage now, sort of as an elder statesman or as a veteran guy? I mean, do you think in those terms, like you're a leader in the garage area?
No, I mean, I feel like we're all, we all play a role with the sport, where it's at, where it's going. I was actually doing an interview earlier today talking about, earning respect and things like that. And it definitely took a while for me, even though I was winning races fairly early in my career, to really earn the respect of the garage area as well as, fans. And so, that part, I feel comfortable with who I am and what's happening, and I certainly don't mind sharing my opinion, but I don't feel like I'm the spokesperson for the garage either.
So many changes over the years, obviously, 20 years. Was there a change to a track or to the car, anything that was the most challenging for you over this time?
I remember when we first started seeing really big rear springs and big sway bars. When I got into the sport, you really had a lot of mechanical grip that you really searched for, and so you would get in the corner. It didn't matter if you were at Charlotte or where you were, and really feel the car roll and lean over on the right rear tire and things like that. And when we started learning more and more about aerodynamics and downforce, that really started making the cars go faster, and that pitch and roll started happening less and less. It took me a little while to get the confidence that corner of the car was going to stick, because that's what I always relied on, was just feeling it sort of lay over on it. And so that was definitely a transition. And once you got through that transition, then you realize, okay, downforce, 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 side force, side force, side force, and just give me more and more and more all the time. And now if that car pitches and rolls the slightest bit, I'm like, oh, we're too soft.
There's something wrong if it does that. Oh, that's interesting. And you talk about second year with Alan. Obviously, that's a nice comfort level that you have. Talk about your relationship there and how that kind of grew over last year.
I'm really excited about this year. I mean, Alan is a guy that he brings a lot of knowledge, confidence. He really is the leader of this team, and he recognizes that in this role, and he believes in me, and I believe in him, and that's when you have a strong pairing and what makes a strong team. And I think a year under our belt, 3 wins, and making the chase. It was a great year, but it wasn't what we really feel like we're capable of doing. I think this year we're gonna show quite a bit.
Do you look back a lot at last year to try to figure out, oh, we should have done this more differently, or do you kind of put that in the rear view and just look ahead?
You always look at every race, analyze prior to what your preparation was, and analyze the results and what you did good and what you did bad after every race.
So as much information as you can.
Absolutely, and the same thing happens throughout the whole season. And so we did that after the season was over. Prior to this season, we talked about that as well, and those guys are rolling over there. And we've got some really cool things that we are going to be bringing out this year to just fine tune. I mean, I don't feel like we had to reinvent anything. I feel like we just needed to find little areas. I mean, just little tiny things like my brake pedal, my gas pedal. The dash and where the switches and things are, just comfort items, feel things, safety things, and then into the car side of it, it's, okay, where did we struggle? Why did we struggle at those tracks, especially in the chase? What do we have to do at that point in the season, at that particular racetrack, on that particular tire to have better results?
That's interesting, because you would think, first of all, after 20 years, you would feel comfortable, you would know where you wanted those pedals or those switches, but you're always tweaking that, huh?
Tweaked. It's always changing. You're always evolving. You're always trying to find ways to go faster, to be better, whether it be physically, mentally, engage with the team, things that they're doing. I mean, it never stops.
So, you take that smaller view and you look at each track and you do a post-mortem and analyze your performance at each track. But if you look at the last season overall, it was interesting because you had those nice wins in Pocono and Phoenix, and then you had some valleys between them. Right. So how do you take that sort of up and down season and sort of flatten that line out and get more consistent?
Well, what I loved about what we did last year is that we just flat out were terrible at Texas, at the first Texas, and it brought out some things that we lacked, and we attacked it as a team, and we really turned things around on our mile-and-a-half program. So it tells me that we're a team that can react and find things in a fairly short period of time if we need to. But I think it also just taught us a lot about what I need in the car, how Alan works as a crew chief, as a team, engineers and everything, how we communicate. And I think it just has us that much better prepared for this year to hopefully get rid of some of those valleys.
Last question, Jeff, before we let you go. Daytona. Do you feel like you know what to expect, or is this still a bit of a mystery going down there?
I mean, we certainly have a pretty good idea. We're down there for 3 days, and we're testing for qualifying runs as well as for drafting. And I mean, I think there's still unknowns as there always is, at Daytona. I think we're definitely going to see less of the tandem drafting. Right. Obviously, taking the radio communication away, I think is going to help in that department. Find that person to link up with. I think even if you're going to link up with somebody late in the race, let's say it's a 2-lap run or 3-lap run, I don't know if you have it set plan as to who it is until that caution comes out or until that moment comes.
I see. So I think quite as premeditated.
I think not as quite as premeditated. And I think the majority of the race, you're not going to see the tandem. And so I think that, you're going to see us back to, racing the traditional way that Daytona has been in the past, and I'm excited about that. And our car was really, really fast down there as well.
Look out then. Look out for the 24 at Daytona.
All right, that's Jeff Gordon from the museum at Hendrick Motorsports. Thanks for watching.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.